Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian at Whisper Status 74. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the channel. If this is the first time you are seeing me, please consider liking and subscribing. We are Real Tech for Real People. Today's video will be a tech therapy video. These are my favorite videos to do, and they are basically what the channel is all about. Today's topic will be addiction and the problem of more.
It's better to burn out than to fade away.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new to the channel, welcome. For those of you that are part of this community, thank you. Love you guys. Thank you so much for your friendship and for always being there. This is a tech therapy video. These videos are the basis of this channel and this community. They are near and dear to my heart, and this is why I actually have this channel. Now today we're going to talk about addiction and the trouble or the problem of more. Now addiction is a very serious, debilitating, destroying thing. And for any of you that are struggling with addiction, there are many of you that are in our community that have conquered addiction, that are working on addiction, that are doing everything they can, and my thoughts are with you. I hope you get through it safely. Reach out to your friends, to your family. Reach out to me here in the comments, regardless of any video it is. Just say hello in the comments. Have people be there for you, and good luck to you. And please, I hope you figure it out and get better. This addiction is, again, the addiction of more, which could be the basis of all addictions, whether it's gambling, alcohol, drugs, whatever your vice may be. This will pertain to technology. Now, what I mean by that is the addiction of more is when you say to yourself, if I can only get this. Now, we're going to cover many different aspects of this because it can go on any financial range. It can fit you if you're somebody that really wants something or you think you want something. Now, that can be anything in life. For this part of the video going forward, we will talk about more material items such as technology. For me, technology in my mind is when I get this or I complete this, I'll be able to sit and relax. Now, if you hear what I'm saying, the technology is a small part of it. What I'm basically saying is if I can get this level of technology, I'll be able to stop wanting. I'll be able to sit with the technology and really just enjoy it, be more present. And a lot of what we're talking about is being present, meaning instead of wondering what's going on, instead of researching on your phone while you're watching a show or anything like that, what this really is you being able to be present, enjoying your technology and enjoying the game or movie or show, be it with your family or by yourself. What I find for me is technology when I was younger was a very communal thing. Outside of YouTube, that would be enjoying a great movie or show with a friend of mine, gaming side by side, going to the theater. And I found as I got older and even building technology over the years, it was a very solo thing. Multiplayer games, we're going to do a totally separate video on multiplayer and how multiplayer can bring people together but can also make you more lonely. So my point is, other than say multiplayer gaming, the technology aspect, unless you're sharing or showing off to other people, can be a very alone type thing, something you're doing just for yourself. And sometimes when you achieve that, there is a crushing loneliness that the search is over, that there might not be anything else. There's also the flip side to that is not really buyer's remorse, but that you built this up more in your mind than what it really was. And that's where we come into it as influencers or YouTubers or whatever it is that we do, where we can be a detriment to you. Now, what I mean by that is when you're doing your research, you're watching a lot of videos that perhaps used to be a written review or commercials back when there was some commercials to watch or advertising. Now you have us, YouTubers, I guess Instagram, but YouTube more than ever. You can see the technology. You can see me playing a game on a TV or surround sound or console. You can see the resolution. I remember before building a PC myself, I would have consoles and I would watch all these crisis videos and all these capture card videos of this clean lines, and then I would look back on my TV and see how jagged that image was. At that time, I had very little idea that this person was playing on this tiny little monitor It was something I never would have wanted, but I kept thinking if I could only get that, I can actually play that game. If I could only reach for this. The thing is, when you don't have it, it gives you a goal to work for. It creates a journey. It gives you purpose. Now you're like, if I can only get this. And then while you're on YouTube or Google or wherever and you're searching, you come across me, other channels, larger, smaller, large professional channels. You have people that either hate a product, love a product, but you start to listen to what you want to listen, and you start building up in your mind, if I only had that 8K TV, that 4K TV, that projector, that surround sound, then I'll be complete. And that's the real basis of what we're talking about, is relying on anything monetized, anything that is material to complete you is very dangerous. Because in reality, each one of these purchases has some kind of detriment, whether it was too expensive for you, whether it needs other aspects of it, whether you buy a TV and then realize, oh man, the sound system isn't any good. Well, now I need different speakers. Now I need, this doesn't really fit my room. There's a million different reasons to make you feel let down. Or what I meant when I first started this part of it with influencers is that we've built it up so much for you that in your mind, with all the research, you thought it would be this. Then you get it home and realize, wow, that's not really anything that I thought that it was. I went through this recently, which is why I'm making the video. So for me, I finally had my TV delivered to me. I got it from Value Electronics. Special shout out to Robert and Wendy Zahn. I had a defective panel last year. Had to bring it back. Also had a huge sewer flood that destroyed my basement. Terrible year, but in my mind, even going through that, there was this glimmer of when I get my new panel, when I get my display back, when I get this, when I get that. The entire time dealing with that CX that was defective, I really ceased playing any content. I didn't play any games, I didn't watch any movies. I was so hyper focused on figuring it out. Now, that's a different thing. It was a defective thing. But at the end of this big debacle and life-changing thing with her basement, all the finances that it incurred, all the expense and the tiredness, when I finally got my C1, I was able to go with the 83-inch. And once I discovered that it was a clean panel and I was good to go, I felt part of me settle in. Part of me say, okay, I'm here now. I can enjoy. I can literally just sit now and enjoy. And it didn't really come to that. The rest of my life didn't allow me to sit and just play video games and movies all day. So there was a bit of a push and pull there. I will also say that when I took part in the Value Electronics shootout, being there with everyone else, and I haven't even done my follow-up to that, but it was amazing to be there. But I'll tell you this, when looking at those panels being reviewed, we had the G1, the A90J, the Hisense dual cell, we had these amazing panels, and then we had the 8K shootout, which was the ZX, the Z9J, and the QN900A. Now I'm at the 83-inch size, so for me, I can't go down in size. That's my own thing. I'm a home theater nut. The bigger the better. There was this weird feeling that I didn't want any of the panels that were being shown. None of them. I was so content with the one that I had. And I remember watching that. I can't remember which one of my fellow YouTubers I said this to, but I was sitting there saying, I actually prefer what I have at home. And at that moment, there was this crushing feeling of loneliness that, okay, the search is over. That sometimes the search is the best part. Sometimes it's the journey, not the destination. It's trying to picture what it's going to be like. And as much as I love the C1 and I love all the technology that's out there, I'm seasoned enough in this industry to know that not one or the other is much better than the other. I've seen the best. I've spent time with the best, hours with the best panels. The ZX is the best panel money can buy. But I wouldn't take it at 77 versus the TV that I have. I know that sounds ridiculous, but there's a loneliness in that. There's a loneliness in knowing now time to sit with yourself. When you're researching, you don't really present because you're on a journey looking, you're searching. You're not present. You're present in your task. But when you're sitting with something and you're just sitting there, now it's time to just understand, be yourself, be within yourself, and now don't look at your phone. The research has become the habit. That's become the drug. You've already gotten your high from the technology, from the search, but the purchase, the excitement, the want, the need, you're so addicted to the anticipation of what that's going to bring to you. There's almost no way it's actually going to bring it to you. There's almost no way it's going to fulfill what you thought it would fill. Not just the technology or the picture quality or what it was going to bring, but it's not going to fill any other heartbreak you're experiencing in your life. Your hardships are still your hardships. So if you're still lonely, it's not going to make you less lonely. It's not going to make things better. And at times it can make things worse. Now, for me, I also have a Denon 6700H receiver. Now, the things I'm talking about are all extremely high end, but you have to be able to relate this to you. I'm also in this industry. YouTube is not my job. I have a totally separate career outside of here. I work 7 days a week. I work nights. I work weekends. I'm a father of two, but I do work very hard to afford the things I want, which doesn't make it easier. It sounds ridiculous because many of you are watching this saying, if I just had that C1, I'd be all set. And I'm here to tell you that it doesn't really work that way. It could be you guys with an Xbox wishing you had the Series X. Now you're not even playing your current Xbox One X or your PS4 Pro because you're waiting to enjoy your PS5 or your Series X. Many of you were crippled by the fact that you couldn't get those consoles, but you didn't even have HDMI 2.1 to really take advantage of that. And there is that fear of missing out. There is that unsettling, I wish there was more. You're seeing that happen right now with Sony fans and VRR. Even though VRR is not something they need right now, it bothers them knowing it's not there. Not just the part of the promise from Sony, that is so valid, but for us knowing it's there. For me, with Dolby Vision in gaming, for me with the C1 and the CX, it was bothering me knowing I couldn't enable it. Well, I enabled it, and it looks fine, but it didn't deliver what I hoped it would. More importantly, the want for it was more taxing or more exciting than the actual reality of it. The reality of it. I enjoyed VRR on the Series X and the One X when I first got my CX, not realizing I didn't even have it enabled. So here I am talking about how much I love it, and it wasn't even enabled. That was already there, meaning it was there for LG owners, Sony owners, Samsung owners. My point is, sometimes it's the want that matters more than the actual goal. And then there's the actual letdown of getting what you want and realizing it didn't change anything in your life. Now, where I'm going with this for myself is having that Denon receiver I mentioned earlier. I have 11.2 system. Basically, it's 4 height channels in an Atmos scenario. And they are older BMW speakers. Again, I do have a receiver, the Denon, and I had some older Polks. And then I went down the rabbit hole of audio, which is way deeper than that of display technology. It almost reminds me of PC technology, but even deeper than that as far as PC gaming. I was on many channels, even as a creator, watching other reviewers, talking to them, even talking with Spare Change, who's a good friend of mine on YouTube, talking to Chana D, Techno Dad, other audio guys. And the more I talk to them, even though I have a very good grasp and understanding of it, the more confused and frustrated that I got. A lot of, because of the level of system that I have, the cheaper amplifiers won't work for it because I need more power. I have 11 speakers. I thought the receiver could push them. It can, but I'm losing some audio. The fact of the matter is, guys, the system is absolutely amazing all by itself, but we're talking about the addiction of more. I can't enjoy what I have because there's a part of me that thinks I could be a little bit better, just a smidge better. And for all of you guys, that might be a smidge brighter or a smidge darker, black level, contrast ratio, larger panel, things like that. So here we are now. I had one weakness in that system other than not having a preamp, is I had some older Polk subwoofers that weren't very good. They weren't very powerful. They weren't very low, so they couldn't pick up all the bass. So doing all this research, I pick up this pair of SVS. I'll show you in a picture what they are. It doesn't even matter what they are, but I ended up researching all these YouTube channels. People love them, and I had seen them with channels or theaters that were much larger than mine, and they're saying these things are awesome. They'll raise the hair on your arms. They'll do this. They'll do that. I'm like, cool. I get drawn in the same way you guys do. I'm like, awesome. I get Value Electronics orders them for me. Go pick them up, get them in, hook them up, and I swear my pokes were better. And there was this immediate letdown because I had already started telling myself the story that once these subs are there, they are going to fill the sound stage. They're going to make my viewing experience so much better. And what I realize is that I'm trying to solve all the rest of my issues or shortcomings with this technology. It'll make the movies better. It'll make the movies better. It'll make I said movies twice. It'll make the games better. I'm actually going to hear that explosion. And I found myself listening to influencers and YouTubers such as myself and listening to every adjective that they had to say, not even realizing half of them, that technology was sent to them. That technology isn't theirs. Of course they're going to tell me how great it is. Then I realize that their receiver is not as powerful as mine or not pushing the same. There's all these different variables. Then I end up going up a notch to the receiver or to the subwoofers that I have now. I'll show a picture of those. These, I think it's the 4000. It's an absolute monster. But here goes, and the bass is out of control. It's a ported sub. It's an absolute beast. But listen to what I'm saying to you. I already have a $4,000 receiver, a $6,000 TV. I have older BMWs, and here I am buying more stuff to enhance it just a little bit. So now I get this amazing subwoofer. The thing is, I have the volume turned up way too loud. I'm probably losing some detail. The bass is out of control. And now I'm on the phone with Shane from Spare Change, sending him links to Emotiva amps that he's reviewing, everyone else is reviewing. And he's telling me, that's not going to drive your system. Nope, not that one, not this one, not that one. Now I'm researching Emotiva. I'm researching their amps. I'm researching SVS. And I realize now I'm looking at another $4,000 investment. And maybe upgrading my speakers. The BMWs are older. Maybe I should get... Now I realize there is a frustration. There is a depression that comes in. It's subtle, but it comes in that I'm not even close. Then there's an excitement to, wait a second, how great is it going to sound? And even me with all this experience, me having this channel, what I want to tell you is that it almost never ends. It almost never ends. And all I can say to you is when you get close, unplug. I always tell you guys, enjoy what you have. I always tell you guys I always mention to you, try and be in content. Try and be content with your current system. Enjoy the game there. I enjoyed Resident Evil 7 with some Dolby Atmos headphones on my 55-inch CX. And I remember talking myself into enjoying it. Talking myself into, hey, stop thinking about how's this going to look on a 787. Stop thinking about, be present. Now again, if you don't have this issue, I know this video is already very long. This video is not for you. This video is for those of you that know the journey that I'm speaking on. And know that it can also cause issues within your family. You just got done telling your wife or your husband, once I get this, I'm good. Now, for those of you that know about classic cars or PC gaming, I went through that. I needed 1080p 60. But the funny thing is, when I finally got 1080p 60, I realized all the PC videos I was watching, those were on monitors. There's a reason it looked so clean at 27 inches. I was playing on a plasma. So what I needed was SLI. Now I have two graphics cards on SLI. Guess what? SLI is barely supported. Now I buy a 1080 Ti. Here I am thousands in with a Steam collection on my PC right now of about 200 games. The ironic thing is now years later, half the games I wanted to play on PC are being remastered on console. And for those of you that are into Steam, you understand this. You understand buying things just to have that quick fix. I already bought Far Cry. Okay, I bought Far Cry 6. I didn't pre-order it. I bought it, I preloaded it, and then jumped on a plane. Meaning I'm here. I don't have any of my technology with me. But that quick fix of wanting it. Buying a game like, Death Stranding, Deathloop, really didn't even want that game, but I just wanted to kind of feel it, see it, and then just left it there. So what I'm trying to say is this doesn't really get better. You have to practice that ability to be content. to have to say, you know what, I really don't need more power. This is fine what I have, and what I have is already amazing. What I'm trying to convey to you guys is, in your mind as you're watching, you're saying to yourself, if I can just get to where he is, if I can just get the system he has, I'll be all set. And the truth of the matter, guys, is the closer you get to that, the lonelier it is. The smaller the payoff is. The percentage of what gets better is smaller and smaller. It's like somebody that's into cars and you're putting thousands in for 2% horsepower, 5% horsepower. You guys right now are chasing TVs that are 5% brighter. And I will tell you that having all these TVs and spending all this time with it, it's barely something you can see. Audio is even worse. Sometimes you're buying speakers that aren't as good as the ones you already had. Here I am with a subwoofer that's over $1,000 that barely sounded better than my $150 ones off Amazon for years. That loneliness, that buyer's remorse. Not only that, but then you also have the feeling of, oh my God, I spent all this time researching. And do me a favor, if you're in the situation any of us are in, take a second, look at your Google history, look at your YouTube history, and see how ridiculous that actually looks. See how many videos you've clicked on to get this guy's point of view. Then there's the whole part about you bought something and you need affirmation. Now you've already bought your TV, you bought what you wanted. Now you're seeking more reviews to tell you how great it is and how you should be happy with it. But then you're sitting there with the technology by yourself saying, it's not that great. It's not that great. You know, I have people telling me that they had an older LCD, they bought a brand new A90 or A80 OLED, and they're like, "Bro, I don't really see what the big deal is." And probably the thing is, you were probably content with what you had. What you had is already paid for. For me, guys, yes, the subwoofer is great, and I'll get a preamp down the road at some point. But I found a regret that I wasn't happy with what I had, and then I found a tinge of excitement about the prospect of having more. And that became my focus. Now I'm looking at speakers, I'm looking into it, and that hunt. But that hunt is really to fix you. That hunt has nothing to do with technology. It's got nothing to do with the car you want. It's got nothing to do with anything. Here I am on vacation, and I found that I needed 3 days to disentangle myself, to unhook myself, and just say, it's okay, you're good, enjoy all this. Get off your phone and stop searching. Me sharing this video with you, this is not distracting me. This is me giving back to you and trying to cut that for you. Be as content as possible. Enjoy the things that you already have. There's so many good games out there. There's so many good movies out there. Watch them. So many creators, myself included, the ones that are larger channels, if you listen to them carefully, very few of them are able to actually watch movies or enjoy their systems. They'll reference a movie they haven't even seen. I don't have time to watch movies and enjoy content, which is why you're seeing more game videos on the channel. But for me, the grind of more. I have more. I wish I had more. The loneliness with TVs, the reality for me that 8K isn't going to change anything. The reality that even if 12-bit color does show up, I'm pretty good where I am. Part of that feels good. Part of that is scary. And part of that is very lonely. Because with that excitement, with that chase, it's like being a single person that enjoys the chase of dating. Being married, being happy, sometimes it's hard to be content. You miss that excitement. This is really no different. The problem is getting addicted to more. It just leads to more missed time, more lost finances, and as you're busy researching these things, you're just making it larger and larger in your minds, and it'll never, ever meet your expectations. Guys, I'm Brian at WhisperStatus74. Please tell me if this is something that you struggle with. We will do more videos on this subject because we can go for hours on it, how you feel after. And think about the end user. Do you get caught up in these purchases and realize they don't meet your expectations? Did you build it up too much in your mind? Am I the problem? Are other YouTubers the problem? Have we built things up unrealistically, or are you completely happy and completely content? But I will tell you that it can be a very dicey thing. Not as devastating as the other addictions we mentioned earlier, but anything that keeps you from being happy and content is definitely a problem. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys. Take care. Have a great day.